Alright, so here is our last section of notes for the chapter. We are going to write equations in a different form. We're going to be writing them in point-slope form. So far, we've always been writing things in y equals mx plus b or slope-intercept form, and this one is a little different, so we want you to be familiar with this one as well. Here's what it looks like. It looks complicated, and again, it's called point-slope form because how you write it is you need a point. So x sub 1 comma y sub 1. So that's going to be a point that you're given or a point you look at from the graph. And then we need the slope, point and slope. And then later we'll be using that and transferring it or converting it back into y equals mx plus b or slope-intercept form. But for now we're just writing it in that format. So in example 1, they give us a point and a slope. So, and that's exactly what we need to do this. First thing you're going to need to do, and it may seem tedious, but write this formula. Y minus y sub 1 equals m, parentheses, x minus x sub 1. Okay, because we want to start filling this in. So the y, as you can see up here, is always just going to be the y, write that down, minus y sub 1. We need to go up here and find this, so let's make some labels. Remember, coordinates are always x comma y. So that's x1 and that's y1. And then slope is your m, of course. So our y1 is a 1. So formula, y, we wrote it down, minus, write it down, 1 equals slope, 2/3, getting that from right here. Parenthesis, x just stays x, minus x sub 1 is where you get from the point. Now it's minus, and then x sub 1 is negative 6. Be careful there. You need the minus and the negative 6. So let's rewrite this and clean this up. We don't want minus and negative. So y minus 1 equals 2/3 times x plus 6. Minus a negative would be plus. Okay, and we want to leave it in that format. And that's it. That is an equation written in point-slope format, point-slope format. So when you start doing these on your own, label these. So this is x1, do this with me, this is y1, and then of course that one's already listed as m. This is x1, this is y1, that's the m. x1, y1, m. Write the formula first. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. Fill in the parts. You fill in the y1, you fill in the m, you fill in the x1. Okay, and then you can come back and do that. And all you have to do, just like on this example here, you stop right here. Okay, you're going to put y up here, x here, fill in the rest with numbers. If you have a minus and negative, please take care of that and make it a plus. On the next page, we're going to do this one other way, and this shouldn't be too much more difficult for you. We're going to write an equation in point-slope form using 2 points. So we have a point, and we can use one of these as our x1, y1, but we have to find a slope. If we had a graph, we could count. We don't. So we're going to use the formula that we've used many times before. So the change in y over the change in x, and we've used this before. Let's label x1, y1, x2, y2. I just call this one the 1s because it's the first point, and this one is the 2s because it's the second point. You could switch those around if needed, if you wanted to. So y sub 2 over here is negative 2 minus y sub 1 is 4. X sub 2 is 5 minus x sub 1 is 2. So in the numerator, negative 2 minus 4 is negative 6. 5 minus 2 is 3. Negative 6 divided by 3 is negative 2. So now we have a slope, an m. We have an x1 and a y1. So we're ready to write our point-slope equation. And remember, if I ever go too fast, you can always pause, replay. So y is just y, minus y sub 1 is 4, equals slope we just found over here, negative 2, times x minus x sub 1, which is 2. And that's it. That is your answer. We have written an equation in point-slope form. Okay, and you're going to do 2 of those. I'm going to go down here and I'm going to show you something. We may have shown you this a little bit. I'm going to use a different color here. This formula with finding the slope up here, basically, if you watch what I'm doing over here, here's y2, I am subtracting y1, so negative 2 minus 4. Here's x2, I am subtracting the x1. So you might be able to just use arrows. So your numerator is going to be negative 4 minus 1. 4 minus 1 is your numerator. Your denominator is going to be 3 minus negative 2. Now for some of you might think, what? How do I know which one to do first? We're following this equation. This is just another kind of visual to help you understand what we're doing. We're taking this y, subtracting that one in the numerator. We're taking this x, subtracting that one in the denominator. So negative 4 minus 1 is negative 5. 3 minus negative 2 would be plus, so that's positive 5. So that slope, let's write the m equals out front, is negative 1. And then you can take that and one of these points. Let's use the first one always. So that's x1 and that's y1. Take that, write your point slope form underneath that. So y minus y sub 1 equals n times x minus x sub 1. And plug in everything that we know to keep the y. You need to plug in the y sub 1 and finish that problem off. And then you also need to work on this problem. And that is it for today. Make sure you do all of your on your own. So page before, page 11, and on this page as well.